Hey everyone, so welcome. We're just going to go through a brief little webinar, I guess, on some of the early functionality of Kudu. So I've just set up a system here. So what we're going to do is we're just going to register an account and then go through some of the very basic kind of first phase functionality. So if we just set this up here, we can create an account. I'm going to set it up as a support account. And then I'm just going to set up a very basic password, agree to the terms and conditions, and I'm going to create an account. I won't save the information for now. So what will happen is it'll send through an email to that account, and then you'll have to verify that that is your email address. So you have to register with a valid email. So you can see the email came through, so please verify your email. So I'm just going to verify that. I can close this tab. And there you go. So now what's happened is my email has been verified. Okay, so what that means is now Kudu has proved that you have a valid email address, and I can actually go in and sign in. So if I go over here, I can actually sign into my newly created account. So the very first phase that you're going to see is the manage companies. So before you can do any functionality within Kudu, you do have to have either created a company whereby you'll be the company owner, or else you'll have to join a company. So joining a company is if someone else has already created a company and you would like to join that company in order to perform functionality on that company. So for this example, we're going to create a new company. Okay, we'll call it Kudu. We can see whether it has a different legal name. So in our example it does. And now since we've only released this for Australia in the first phase, we have to register a relevant ABN. So if I go into the ABN lookup over here, I can just look for the company and I can see it over there. So if we copy and paste this, we can enter it there. It does have validation, so if you don't enter valid ABN, Kudu will know and it will restrict you from proceeding. So we're going to choose business type of other. We'll put in our email address and we'll say yes, we are registered for GST. We'll save that there. Now you can see the company's been created. So if I wanted to go in here, I can see all the details I've created. I can add a logo if I want to. So if we look over here, I can add a logo, and if I update it there, now what will happen is I actually have a logo. So that becomes quite important if you want your logo to appear on your timesheets and invoices when they're sent to the clients. And then just in regards to navigation, so at the top over here, if you click this config button, it'll load all your settings. So any company settings will be over here, your user account settings, and your timesheet settings and integrations will be there. If you want to actually, this is the drawer, you can minimize it if you're on a smaller screen, particularly iPads or mobile devices. It's sometimes a good idea to minimize. So what we've got now is we've got the basic access. Now what we're going to do is we're going to set up a basic system. So we're going to define a service. So we're going to say we're doing some Kudu support consulting, okay, and we're going to say what billing type is that. So when we look at services, we can charge time and material, or we can charge a fixed price. So time and material, which is time-based, means that we get paid for all of the work we perform for our customers. Fixed price means we have agreed before we started work with our customers that we're going to do a certain amount of work for a fixed amount of money. So in this regard, since we're going to show you the timesheet functionality, we're going to choose a time-based service. So we're going to say $50 an hour. We're going to charge GST as we are registered for GST, and we're going to choose hour as our unit. So if we save that template, we can now see that we have a service of Kudu Support Consulting. Okay, so now what we want to do is we want to create a customer. So we cannot obviously sell anything unless we have a customer. So what we're going to do is we're going to call this customer just an example company. We're going to say the contact name is Joe Doe, and again we need another ABN. So if we go in here and we just choose this one over here, just for the sake of this example, we'll enter that. We'll also set up a test email just so that we don't send anyone an email they shouldn't receive. And what we'll do is we'll just set up an address here. Myrtle Street. We're in Melbourne, Australia, and that's where Kudu's located, and that is in Victoria and Australia. Postcode, we're going to put in a contact number, so okay, this is 103900880. There's also validation on these phone numbers, so you've got to make sure you enter valid details. So there you go. Now we can see we've actually got a customer. Okay, so if we click on the customer, we can actually see some details about the customer. We can update the customer with a little quick edit if we like. We can also see their invoices. So, okay, what we're going to do now is we're going to say, okay, our customer, example company, has employed Kudu in order to perform some Kudu support consulting. So we've got an agreement with them that they will, we will provide services to them on a weekly basis. So what we'll do is we'll fill out a timesheet in order to record those services we perform for them. So over here we can choose our month, our year. So let's say, for example, we're going to do this week, we're going to perform some work. We can choose between a project and a customer. Projects I won't go into too much detail at this stage. So projects is really when you have multiple services that you provide to one customer. So let's say in our example, the example company has a time-based service as well as a fixed price service for us to deliver a server installation. Then we could have all of those services grouped under a project, and it just means it's easier to keep track of work. But in this basic example, we'll just use a customer. So we'll choose customer in the icon there. We'll choose the customer. We'll choose what services we're providing to them, and we'll put through the amount of work we did. Okay. So we're going to finalize that timesheet. Okay. It says when you finalize a timesheet, you change the status from draft to finalize. Therefore, it cannot be edited. Are you sure you want to finalize this timesheet? So I'm going to say yes. Okay, now it submits. If you've set up in the config and you want your customers to approve your timesheets, it'll submit your timesheet for approval. Okay, but in this example we're not going to go into approvals. We'll bring that up in a later webinar. So okay, and there the timesheet has been created. Okay, so now we know that there's 40 hours that we've charged to the example company for Kudu support consultant. And based upon the $50, it's a $2,000 that is owed to us. So now what we want to do is we want to eventually get payment for this timesheet. So we go into invoices, we go create new invoice. Now there's three options here. We've got a free text invoice, we've got to create from project to invoice, and we've got convert timesheet to invoice. If you get confused, just hover over the the question mark, and it'll give you a brief description of what each of these different types of invoices entail. For now, what we're going to do is we're going to convert a timesheet to an invoice. Okay, we're going to search for the company. So there you can see example company comes up. We're going to say, yeah, okay, that is the one. We do want GST. We're going to go next. We're going to choose to charge them via EFT. We can put a message here, please make payment. We click next, and your invoice is then created. Okay, so that's a very basic rundown of our functionality. Again, it's very early. This is just a sneak peek of what will hopefully be our production version in the next few weeks. So yeah, hope you enjoyed. Thanks for your time.